Welcome to the 12th annual evening with Emilys-Entourage. It is amazing to be back in this incredible space at the Mann Center, where we have this beautiful view of the Philly skyline when the weather cooperates, and can look up at the starry night sky to see the inspiration for tonight's theme, True North. The script really landed better when there was a clear forecast. But for those of you who are joining us from home, we feel your presence. Thank you to each of you for tuning in and being here with us tonight. Tonight, while we gather in celebration and hope, I know that there's also a lot of hurt and fear in the world right now. I want to acknowledge that this is a really emotional and challenging time for a lot of us, and our hearts are with the innocent victims of violence in Israel and in the region. I'd like to take a moment of silence to honor the victims and to send our collective thoughts and strength to those suffering through this challenging time. Thank you. As many of you know, I'm Kobe Golenkoff, Emily's brother. I'm excited to be back with all of you to be your MC for this very special evening. It's heartwarming to see so many familiar faces and some new faces too. I realize that for so many of us, being back here together, chatting, enjoying each other's company, it feels totally normal. That normal is something that my family is still waiting for. Emily, or Ia as I call her, has cystic-fibrosis, a life-threatening genetic disease that primarily affects the lungs and digestive system. At 38 years old, she has 30% lung function. She spends countless hours every day trying to salvage that lung function through intensive breathing treatments, more than 30 pills a day, and diligent management of her CF-related diabetes. Given the advanced stage of Ia's disease, COVID or any respiratory virus could be catastrophic. So Ia, alongside our sister Annie and our parents, Liza and Michael, are here with us tonight but remain isolated in that really fun middle tent kind of between us over there as a precaution. When you walk by, you can give them some love, talk in the microphone. It's this really weird, awkward exchange, but it makes them happy. Inspired by the North Star, tonight's theme is True North. Like the bold star that lights up the night sky, the concept of True North represents clarity, constancy, and purpose. When we started EE in 2011, we had no idea what we were doing and no idea how to get there. What we did know, however, is what we were trying to achieve: fast breakthroughs and a cure for the final 10% of the CF population that does not benefit from existing therapies. And we wanted to do it in time to save Ia and everyone like her. In the 12 years since founding Emilys-Entourage, a lot has changed. But that singular purpose, our true north, has never wavered. Every single day, every single decision is guided by our goal. It's our reason for being, and it's what has allowed us to grow into the impactful organization that we are today. The North Star also serves as a navigational tool. Because of its location on the axis, it's the one star that does not appear to move over the night sky, always reliably marking true north. That steady directional force is what differentiates the North Star from all the rest. It serves as a guide. For so long, there was no hope for the final 10%. But now, multiple therapies have entered or will soon reach clinical trials. For the first time ever, there is real, tangible hope. The direction and path of our true north, a breakthrough for the final 10%, is finally illuminated. We're closer than ever. Our progress has been nothing short of extraordinary. But we're not quite there yet. There's more to do, further to go. Together with our family, our leadership and staff, the scientific and clinical community, the CF community, and all of you, the path to our true north is clearer than ever. It's outlined in the stars, and getting there is up to all of us. Thank you for being on this journey with us tonight and beyond. A few special thank yous as we get started. First, to tonight's presenting sponsor, Vertex Pharmaceuticals, our Dream Team sponsors, Boehringer Ingelheim and Systemic Medicines, our Violet sponsors, 4D Molecular Therapeutics, and the Green Family Foundation and First Trust Bank. Moderna and Viatris. Thank you to our individual presenting sponsors, Jill and Mark Fishman, Marcia and Ned Kaplan, and Eli and Pauline Neerman Family Foundation. Thank you to our premier in-kind donors, Color Reflections, Harvest Seasonal Grill and Wine Bar, Score a Score, and Tito's Handmade Vodka. Of course, this night would not be possible without our board of directors, scientific advisory board, leadership team, and our amazing gala planning committee and steering committee. Thank you all so much. Also, our deepest appreciation to the mighty Emilys-entourage staff, Laura DiTrapano, you're a star. Chandra Ghosh, Mariah Oakley, Cheyenne Dudley, Merritt Renard, Kerry Kavanaugh, Beth Shapiro-Lavin, and EE's honorary president, Annie the Prez Kramer-Galenkoff. A few more special thank yous to Spencer Carr and the Hogan Lovells team, and to Joanna Rudnick and the whole team at Storied Studios, the geniuses behind the campaign video that you'll see later this evening. On behalf of all of us at EE, thank you for your deep commitment and incredible generosity. We are so appreciative for your support and dedication. One more clap for all those folks and that I got through that incredible list of people who made this possible. Next, it is my distinct honor to introduce an incredibly close friend of my family for many decades. My mom originally met Phil's wife, Juliet, and they became fast friends over a shared love of, as I'm told the story, sign language, Birkenstocks, and fighting cystic fibrosis. And so, while the friendship started with my mom and Juliet, it turns out that her deep devotion to CF originated with Phil, who has a personal connection to CF of his own. It is an absolute pleasure to bring you up here, Phil, tonight, and we really, really deeply thank you.
Shavua Tov. Have a good week, everybody. We are here tonight to celebrate life, to celebrate breathing easily, to be members of Emilys-entourage, in fullness of spirit, of love, and with money. We need that too. And of course, we support all those like Emily who suffer from the same mutation of cystic fibrosis. Juliet and I are honored to have known Liza, Michael, and family for 36 years. And for those here tonight who know a little Hebrew, the letters that equal 36, Lamed Vav, stand for heart. Tonight, it's all about heart. Of course, the friendship began, as you just heard, with Liza and Juliet, two forces to contend with, but in a loving and positive way. From the very beginning, this friendship grew and deepened. Here we are tonight to recognize and salute Pearl and David Goldstein and Ariel and Gabe Amzalag with tribute in memory to Uncle Billy and Aunt Evelyn, Dr. Billy and Evelyn Grail, Pearl's parents, Ariel's grandparents, the true original pioneers of the cystic fibrosis movement. Pearl is the linkage between those early days when cystic fibrosis was discovered, sadly losing her brother Lee and sister Kathy. She watched her parents counsel for decades, families like the Kramer-Galenkoff family, offering guidance and love and support for them and for their children. Aunt Ev and Uncle Bill knew that the fight for their own children was futile. However, their perseverance, courage, and steadfastness enabled us to assemble tonight so that Emily and others like her have a fighting chance to live and to breathe. There is no better way to honor the Kramer-Gallenkoff family than by honoring Pearl and David, Ariel and Gabe, and it is indeed our supreme honor with immense love and affection to bring Pearl, David, Ariel, and Gabe to the stage. And may we all go from strength to strength. Amen.
Some of my earliest memories are of the neighborhood kids running between backyards, playing sports, and riding bikes on Kent Road. Every so often, Emily would go inside to receive treatment and then be right back out there with us. It was a simpler time, but the stakes were high, and the stakes remain high for people like Emily. For as long as I can remember, I have been fundraising for cystic fibrosis. When I was 2 years old, my dad carried me up 52 flights of stairs at the annual stair climb, the fundraiser for the CF Foundation. It is incredible to see how far the research has come. Currently, 90% of the CF population has access to treatment, but that still leaves 10% searching for a cure. Our goal tonight is to help the individuals in the final 10%, people like Emily, live full lives. Thank you for being with us tonight to help our vision become a reality.
I'm truly grateful looking out at all of you. Thank you for being here and supporting this effort. Friends and family from near and far, thank you for coming tonight. David and I, Ariel and Gabe, Max and Andrea, Akiva and Jessica, appreciate your efforts. My parents, Evelyn and Dr. Billy Graub, had amazing vision and strength despite having 2 children, my brother Lee and my sister Kathy, who were diagnosed with cystic fibrosis. Every set of new young CF parents found their way to our home in Winfield, very close to here, to receive support and counseling since 1955. Despite dealing with their own woes and caring for 2 young children with CF, they remain positive and focused on care and research. Fundraising was key, and therefore, with friends and family, they established local, state, national, and international organizations for CF families and research. As a pediatrician, Dad understood the care needs for his son and daughter with CF, but there wasn't enough knowledge to lead to a control or cure. With the birth of genetics, specifically genetic mapping, a great deal of hope arose. Today we see remarkable progress, but it did not come soon enough for Lee and Kathy. Mom and Dad did not give up and concentrated solely on CF research. Children all over the world have benefited from this work, and their lifespans were extended. Around 1987, my parents met with a young couple who lived around the corner from us in Ballackinwood. They had a daughter named Emily, who was diagnosed with CF. This couple, Liza Kramer and Michael Golenkoff, reminded them of themselves, having a burning passion to advance research on behalf of all children with cystic fibrosis. There were stair climbs and concerts and fashion shows to raise money. They educated their peers and were consummate advocates on behalf of Emily. Emily is fighting for her life. She is tenacious, smart, and aggressive in the pursuit of her goal. We share the pursuit of this goal. We will not stop until research finds an effective treatment for the last 10% not benefiting from prior successes. Emily's Entourage is supporting innovative research worldwide. Just as genetic mapping was a breakthrough, it may be AI or other pathways. David and I pray that these efforts will be successful as soon as possible. My mother often quoted Deuteronomy 30:19. I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day. I have put before you life and death, blessing and curse. Choose life. Choose life. That's my parents' legacy. That is our mission. Please join us in this critical pursuit. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Beth Shapiro-Lavin. I wear a lot of different hats for EE. I have been a board member since day one. I'm still holding it down in EE South after in New Orleans, after Julia, Kobe, and all of their friends graduated. I was also a pandemic-era staff member and work wife to EE's president, Annie. And currently, I serve as EE's clinical trial matchmaking program manager. I am so delighted to be here in person with you all and to celebrate and share this powerful evening. Many of you I've gotten to know through Zoom over the years. For those of you I don't know, I always leave this event inspired and amazed by how many people are connected and moved into action by EE's mission and how your collective spirit and generosity power this little organization that could, year after year, to our goals. Thank you for being here tonight and supporting EE. I want to give a special thanks to my core champions crew, the Penn Girls, some in person, many on Zoom, holding it down year after year, as well as my family and friends who are family who have made EE their mission alongside me. It's nearly impossible not to. Most people don't get to work side by side with their best friend. It takes balance to jump between an active day of texting about the US Open, fashion inspiration, and global news, to working through some of EE's most pressing needs and opportunities. Day after day, I am humbled and find myself in awe of how Emily and this incredible entourage surrounding her push our critical mission forward to benefit people with CF in the remaining 10%. And while Emily and the KG family are our North Star, EE is so fortunate to be surrounded by a galaxy of bright lights illuminating the way for our critical work. Specifically, the 2023 EE champions. This year's 19 champions are out of this world. Some fun things to know about them. They span the globe with representatives from the East Coast to the West Coast and as far as Paris, France. We have someone who can recite the alphabet as fast backwards as she can forwards. There are budding entrepreneurs who raised money with successful lemonade stands. someone who discovered EE for the first time on YouTube, and a champion who we're now calling the breadwinner because she not only rakes in the dough for EE, she is an avid actual bread baker too. In total, I am thrilled to announce that this year's champions have raised a collective $22,500, which is truly an amazing number. I am totally in awe of this group, and I'm honored to be a part of it. I'm so, so proud of this year's champions for making such an incredible impact. Let's give a round of applause again for this year's champions. And now it is time to reveal the champion of the year. Kobe, please do the honors.
All right, let's see this. Who won this thing? It's very official. Having trouble reading this? All right, congratulations to our 2023 Champions of the Year, Team Seeking a Cure, who raised a total of $10,700. Wow. This is a team of and it's Beth. Wow. Emily's best friends from college who have been a part of this Champions campaign year after year and have raised an incredible amount of money. Emily is so lucky to count on both of you two and the whole team as part of her closest friends. Emily's entourage and our entire family feel so lucky that you consistently show up for this organization and for all of us. We love you. I also can't conclude this part of the champion ceremony with shouting out Nick Dingis, who is the chair of the Champions campaign, the mastermind behind it all, and is a board member and true rock star. So thank you, Nick. Now it's my honor to present to you the premiere of our 2023 campaign video, which answers a simple and important question: doesn't everyone deserve to dream?
This is what freedom looks like. Standing at ease, breathing in the salty air, climbing to the top of the mountain, soaring like the birds overhead. Nowhere to be but here, not a worry in the world. I can't even imagine this in my wildest dreams. I have a fatal genetic disease called cystic fibrosis. There are life-saving treatments for 90% of people with CF, but for the final 10% of us, there's nothing. Our time is running out. I have 30% lung function left. I am suffocating. You can't dream when you're just trying to survive. I am being held captive, locked inside this room, this body, this disease. My biggest fear is allowing myself to dream. Because dreams are dangerous. We started Emilys-Entourage because we believe that every single person deserves to dream. And so we set off to find life-saving treatments for those left behind. Now, that hard work is paying off. Multiple therapies are advancing to clinical trials. We have tangible options that we've never had before. There's a beacon of hope on the horizon. And so, for the first time ever, I dare to dream. I see a future that involves more soaring than suffocating, more freedom than isolation, more living than dying, and more dreaming. We need your support now to make this dream a reality.
Every year I get up here and I tell you a story about CF, but there's a part of my experience that I've never shared. Tonight, I'm going to share that part of the story with you. I've spoken before about when I was diagnosed with a terrible bacteria associated with significantly higher mortality many years ago. This news came out of nowhere and it upended my life, forcing me to stare down my own mortality. But I never shared with you the most painful part of the story. It was the walk from my doctor's office to the car where my mom was waiting. In the weeks leading up to my doctor's appointment, I had been feeling good. I went in for a routine CF check-in. In fact, it was such a routine appointment that my mom didn't even come with me, as she often does. So you can imagine my surprise when my doctor greeted me with a look of concern. He sat down and turned his chair to me. "Emily, I'm sorry to share this, but your culture revealed a new bacteria growing in your lungs." I recognized the name of the bacteria the second I heard it. It was one of the most dreaded bacteria in CF, associated with high mortality and poor treatment options. The news blindsided me. I had no new symptoms, not even a cough. My lung function was stable. I felt fine. Incredulous, I asked, could it be a lab error? I had read about people with CF being diagnosed with this bacteria. I knew how it could erode the lungs, trigger rapid lung decline, and disqualify you from lung transplant. I had brushed over those accounts. They were too upsetting, too scary to even read. Not me, I would think. I'm too careful. It's too rare. And yet, now it was me. I had walked into clinic that day feeling good. I was walking out with a potential death sentence. And yet, despite the shocking diagnosis that I had just received, despite the big decisions that I was going to have to make and the scary new realities I was going to have to contend with, when I left clinic that afternoon, all I could think about was telling my mom. She was waiting to pick me up, eager to hear about my appointment. As I walked to the car, I felt like I was carrying a bomb that I was about to detonate on the person I love most in the world. She had no idea what was coming, and I was about to deliver news that would destroy her. When I got to the car, I swung the door open, and before I could even get in, I blurted out, "Mom, I have terrible news." I have to be honest, I don't even remember her response, but it was that 200-foot walk to the car, of carrying something toxic, of having to deliver the news to the person I love most, of anticipating her shock and her pain, and knowing I was the source that is forever seared in my memory. And that was just the start. First, I had to tell my mom. Then it was my dad, Kobe, Julia, and Annie. Then it was my closest friends and my colleagues, and the list kept going and going. Each time, it was like re-experiencing the trauma, the shock, the pain, and more than anything, the almost unbearable guilt that their sadness was all because of me. Every time, like the first time. That's the secret we never share. The hardest part of CF isn't the physical part. It's not the hours of daily medical treatments or the disruptive hospitalizations. It's not the piling of complications or the endless coughing. It's not even the sometimes blinding pain and suffocation. The hardest part of CF is the impact you have on the people you love. It's having to share bad news and being the source of their sadness and fear. It's imposing limitations on their lives by virtue of the limitations on yours. It's clipping their dreams and ruining their plans. It's the almost indescribable guilt and sadness that comes with putting all of that on the people you love most. It's seeing their pain and knowing it's all because of you. That's the load I carry. It's all because of me. And here's the thing. It's not just the crises when I'm diagnosed with a terrible bacteria. It's every doctor's appointment when my baseline lung function slowly declines. And it's every day when my oxygen levels creep lower and lower and my walks become more laborsome. With a fatal and progressive disease like CF, it just keeps getting worse, and the bad news never gets easier to tell. And yet, the irony is that this all comes from a place of immense good fortune. I am surrounded by a group of people that wrap me in inordinate amounts of love, people that devote their lives to optimizing mine, that share my burdens and celebrate my triumphs, that love me unreasonably, and that after 38 years of living with a fatal, disruptive beast of a disease, keep showing up every single time. Every person should be so lucky to be surrounded by love like this. But the extraordinary love also brings an extraordinary challenge. It makes the burden of enduring CF's progression so much harder. Because I know what my loss would do. I know how it would decimate my family, how it would leave them reeling and forever incomplete, how their souls would perish with mine. That fear of the ruinous impact of my death on the people I love most, that too is the load I carry. But before this gets too heavy, I have to tell you, it's also my motivation. That collision of fear and love, it was the force that sparked the formation of Emilys-Entourage 12 years ago. And it's the force that's propelled our progress every single day since. And let me tell you, it is one heck of a propeller. For the past few years, I've gotten up here and I've talked about how research is progressing, how we're getting closer to therapies entering clinical trials and reaching people with CF. Well, tonight, I'm ecstatic to share that we're not just getting closer this year, we're there. On August 14th, a new treatment called phage therapy that was funded by Emilys-Entourage to treat drug-resistant infections was successfully administered to a person with CF. That person is a 22-year-old college student named Maggie Donovan. Maggie tolerated the therapy with no adverse side effects, and after just her first dose, her culture showed significant reduction of the drug-resistant bacteria. That is huge. This marks the first time in history that a therapy funded by Emilys-Entourage has been used to treat a person with CF. Those are your dollars bringing life-saving therapies to Maggie and others like her who need them most. We've now funded the development of 13 other phages to address some of the most difficult to treat infections plaguing the CF community. Hail Mary treatments for people who have run out of all other treatment options. And there's more. For many years, we've been saying clinical trials for the final 10% are coming. Clinical trials represent the final major step in bringing new therapies to people with CF. And for so many years, there were none for those in the final 10%. Well, I'm overjoyed to share that those trials are not just coming anymore, they're here too. 5 projects funded by Emilys-Entourage have now entered clinical stage, meaning studies being done on people with CF. One of those projects was a grant funded by Emilys-Entourage, spun out into a company called Systemic Medicines that is now in clinical trial in New Zealand with plans to come to the US soon. And we're continuing to grow our clinical trial recruitment program too. Currently, we're supporting recruitment for Vertex Pharmaceuticals' trial of an investigational mRNA therapy and 4D Molecular Therapeutics trial of an investigational gene therapy for those in the final 10%. If these trials meet their endpoints and are well tolerated, the next step is submitting for FDA approval. That is wild. This marks a new era of Emilys-Entourage. We're not just funding research projects in labs anymore. Our pipeline is maturing, and clinical trials are the final frontier. But you can't just put all your eggs in one basket. You never know what will work, and trials fail every day. And so we're continuing to push on all fronts to keep filling the pipeline. That's why this December, we are hosting a scientific symposium called The Promise of Gene-Based Therapies for Cystic Fibrosis. We're bringing together 80 of the most preeminent researchers from 18 countries around the world to put their brilliant minds together to speed life-saving breakthroughs for the final 10%. We've invited researchers from within the CF field, but most of the researchers are actually from outside of the CF field. We want to spur cross-fertilization, borrow technologies, and learn from the successes and failures in other diseases to make our pathway forward faster. The projects sparked at that symposium will be the trials of tomorrow. And so we continue to push on all fronts to generate more research and to move the trials forward as quickly as possible. That is the progress that Emilys-Entourage is powering, made possible by your unwavering support. And it's a good thing, because after 38 years of living with this disease, CF continues to stun me with its viciousness. In my own experience of living with CF, and as I watch my beloved friends continue to die at the hands of this merciless disease. And it's not just about those of us living with CF. It's about everyone who loves us, our moms and dads, our siblings, our kids and our partners, and our best friends too. And so when we talk about speeding breakthroughs, it's about regaining lung function and reducing infections. It's about freeing up time and tethering us from the shackles of illness. It's about giving us the confidence to dream of and pursue a future. And it's also about releasing the people we love most from the strangling grip of CF on their lives and finally letting them be free. That's what we're here tonight to do, to dare to dream of a future where we can finally be free. Getting there is up to you. This entourage, all of you, you are the dreamers and believers, the risk takers and breakthrough makers, a collection of the most passionate and devoted people in the universe, gathered together on this mission of a lifetime to develop life-saving breakthroughs and create a future where we can all, 100% of us, all finally breathe easier. Thank you.
Hello. That was beautiful, Ia. Thank you. I wish that there was something that I could do to ease the pain and burden that Ia feels. I wish I could make her days easier. That she didn't wake up every morning thinking about her oxygen levels or whether her energy will hold throughout the day. I wish her life got to be about reaching for the things she wants rather than desperately trying not to lose what she has. That she could experience some respite, even for a day, from the weight of this disease. Ia has to carry so much. But the reality is, CF is a family disease. This is all of our load to bear. Anyone who meets my family can see and feel the passion and desperation we have to save Ia. But what most people rarely see is the pain behind closed doors. My mom's full body cringe. We should have prepared with tissues up here. My mom's cringe at the sound of Ia's cough as she doubles over to catch her breath on their nightly neighborhood walk. The way that Annie tightens her lips with helpless concern when my dad explains that Ia needs a quiet morning to stay in bed. And I see Julia, who keeps our family's struggles with CF private, despite having the closest friends in the world, because frankly, it's easier and safer to push aside than consistently reopen a wound. I recognize it in her because that's how I cope too. For anyone who experiences family illness, for anyone whose life is structured around the disease of a loved one, you know these stories are not unique. I'll never forget connecting with a CF sister who traveled across the country and put her medical rotations on hold to help her sibling recover from a lung transplant. A widow who had to make the impossible decision of whether to donate his late wife's lungs to science in hopes of finding a cure that was too late for his wife. Families who've held on to their dedication to this disease, passing it down generation to generation, making it a legacy like the amazing Graub, Goldstein, and Amzalag families. Anyone who's been close to this disease knows that deep underwater sounding cough, the middle of the night ER runs, canceled vacations and weekend plans, the safety precautions and masks that came well before COVID. That's the load we all bear. It's hard for me when people ask how Ia's doing. I don't have a great response because the answer is she's just okay. And most people don't see it, but her every day is riddled with pain, shortness of breath, new scary symptoms. So I don't really have an answer for that. CF is a progressive disease. Her health is only getting worse. And so in those moments when people ask, I struggle. I have to make this choice of whether to give the hard, honest truth or give an easier, rose-colored answer that we all want to hear. And so what I do, no matter what, is I always circle back to hope. And for us, that's EE. For the last 12 years, that's been our mission, our North Star. We don't measure years in weeks and months. We measure it in progress, in grants offered, in gala themes, and money raised, in proximity to a cure. You just heard Ia get up here and talk about the pain she feels for the ways that CF impacts our lives. The burden she feels for the responsibility and the burden and the responsibility of the burden that it brings, rather. But the thing is, and the irony of it all is that with EE, she's helped create this life raft that turns our helplessness to hope. She's galvanized this community who shows up every single time, rain or shine, and asks, how can we help? It's this community that's created opportunity where there was none. It's Maggie taking phage therapy and seeing a significant reduction of her drug-resistant bacteria. It's EE's investments and research partners that have garnered over $42.8 million in follow-on funds. It's Systemic Medicines and Vertex and 4DMT taking investigational therapies to patients in clinical trials. Our track record speaks for itself. EE has proven its ability to identify the most promising research, convene the leading players, and bring breakthroughs to people with CF fast. And it's not just CF, it's mutation-targeted therapies that could help millions with rare diseases, bacterial treatments that could beat antibiotic resistance. The implications are huge. Years from now, when people tell the story of how CF was cured, Emilys-Entourage will be a fundamental part of that story. All of you will be a fundamental part of that story. The heroic work of a small but mighty group of people that dared to dream. Your support, your belief, your contribution will power the breakthrough that will save my sister, save my family, and all the other families like us. Natalie's and Maggie's, Aiden's and Jared's, families who need their loved ones just like I need my sister. By being here tonight, we can't thank you enough. What you have already given is absolutely beyond generous. Now, in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to ask you to consider giving a little bit more. We're going to set a timer, and the lights will flash. The music will blast, and we will do this together. Please take out your phone. You should have received a text message with a link. Please click that link to go to our mobile donation page. If you have any questions, we'll have volunteers in the back. If you're having difficulty, we'll have a donation station in the reception tent. We have 5 minutes to hit our goal, to chase our North Star and NCF once and for all. Let's start this timer and let's do it. So right now we have $36 of $30,000. You can text CURE-CF to 44321 if a text message didn't come in. So I see people texting that number, 44321, texting CURE-CF. Thank you all so much. We already had our first donor. Thank you so much, Emily Cohen. I may have gone to high school with you, Emily, but there could be another Emily Cohen in the crowd tonight, so thank you. And look at that. We've got my parents, Emily and Annie the Prez, over in that lonely tent, separated and safe, but they are cheering, rooting for all of you, all of us, to hit our monetary goal. Thank you, Sarah, with your incredibly generous donation as we're seeing money come in. Ivy and the entire Kaplan family and Solomon family, you guys are stars and we love you. Thank you, Ariel and Michal, Alexandria. It is overwhelming to see these donations come in. This is the power of Emilys-Entourage, and we are doing extraordinary things. We've had 9 donors so far, over $1,300. That is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all so much. We are doing it. If you can't feel it, it's happening. Thank you, Michelle and Benjamin, Adriana, even the anonymous donations. That is the truly most incredible gift. gift that we could possibly receive. Now I'm getting a little bit lonely and awkward up here on stage, so I'm going to call up my sister Julia and anyone else who wants to join us to encourage our donations and hitting our monetary goals as we chase this North Star.
Thank you all so much. This is absolutely incredible.
Thank you, Paul and Lauren and Steve. Hugo, your turn.
We got some anonymouses. Thank you, Megan. Wow, that's very kind of you.
We practiced this. Come on, you got lines.
The work that we're doing here, there are 100. We did practice. There are 105,000 people out there with CF, and the work that we're doing is impacting all of them.
12 years ago, we never could have imagined this. We dreamed up Emilys-Entourage from our living room floor with the help of family and friends. It is mind-blowing that we're here today, and there are true breakthroughs on the horizon. Clinical trials that are reaching patients, and it's happening.
And a reminder, you text Cure CF to 44321. I don't think that there was a text message that went through, so that is how you get there.
We've already raised over $13,000 in the last, I don't know, I can't do that math, 3 minutes or so. That is unbelievable.
And we actually have amazing news. We have a $10,000.
You've been holding out on us. Wow.
So all of the money that you donate right now, if you donate $5, we will get 10. If you donate 20, we will get 40, up to $10,000.
And that matching donation is from a CF family, which is truly the greatest gift that we can get. It shows the belief that the CF community has in the work that Emilys-Entourage is doing, and the different labs and researchers and biotech companies that are powering these research and breakthroughs.
And these donations, they're going straight to clinical trial. They're going straight to help research, to help real people with CF today.
All right now, so we need to muster up the courage. I know we can do it. We're at $25,000. Thank you all so much for being here, for contributing,
and
for being a part of this.
My mom and dad and sisters are over in that tent there, far away. We're so close. Let's make a little noise so that they can hear us.
We love you. Look at Annie the best. Look at Emily. We love you, Mom. We love you, Dad. Nearly $27,000. Thank you, Seth and Marcy, Kim, Ed, Claudia. We are so touched by all of you being here and donating your time and your energy, and of course your money, and powering the breakthroughs that will save our sister and our family and all the other families who need it. $29,000. Who's going to be the person to get us there? We are so close. This is our North Star. We are doing it, and thank you. Jesse and Jamie, Sharon and Danielle. We love you. We're at zero. Thank you all so much. I still have a belief that we're going to see that number get to 30K. Let's do it.
Thank you all so much.
Cases. Thank you to all of you who donated by being here and contributing. It makes a world of difference. Thank you again. We are absolutely mind blown. We cracked 30K all here in 5 minutes. The power of this entourage and a testament to all of your generosity and belief. Thank you. One last thing. While you have your phones in your hand, mark your calendar for next year. We'll be here, 2024, Emilys-Entourage, October 5th. We have your names, we have your information. We're going to reach out, but put it in your phone now. Also, have a wonderful time at the reception tent. There's food, there's drinks, there's dessert. You all deserve it. Thank you so much. Let's celebrate for the incredible hope that you're bringing to all of us. Cheers.